Henry Bessemer's process of refining steel can be tracked back all the way to the Crimean War in 1853. The cannons being used at the time were not strong enough to withstand a 30-pound shell. He first tried to help out the British War Offices with his services on their rifle ordnance. However, when he was rejected, he took to France. Once he had the attention of the commander, he went back to the Baxter House to work on the problem with his brother-in-law. When experimenting, he noted it wasn't getting hot enough and that there was unmelted pig iron still in the processor. So he added more air to the furnace, which would become the Bessemer process. In 1856, Bessemer presented to the BAAS about the manufacture of malleable iron and steel without fuel. He was met with many snickers before, but after he presented to the audience, many believers existed.
Henry Bessemer. He was responsible for creating a process to create steel inexpensively. This was called the Bessemer process. This helped build skyscrapers and railroads and expanded the nation to become a powerhouse in the late 19th century. By creating steel inexpensively, it made it much more easier for businesses to expand and for huge construction deals to be completed in a reasonable time. Although Bessemer brought this process to the industrial age, he was not the first to create this. The Europeans have been using this process for hundreds of years. William Kelly, an American, actually patented this process first, but due to bankruptcy, he was forced to sell it to Bessemer. The Bessemer process removes all the impurities from pig iron to make steel much stronger and much more durable. Here's an example of the furnace used to maintain extremely high heat that is much more safer and easier to use.
Andrew Carnegie came to America, began work as a boy as a telegrapher. Through this business, he taught himself Morse code, and because of his skill and his knowledge of this vital communication tool, he was hired on under the Pennsylvania Railroad under Superintendent Thomas Scott. After just a few years there, Carnegie became so successful that he became the superintendent of that same division. Business boomed under him. Within the railroad industry, Carnegie recognized the money and opportunity to be had in the steel industry. By building rails, bridges, he understood that there was money to be had. So, as an entrepreneur, he joined the race for better steel, thus strategic management, eliminating waste, reducing cost, becoming better. When Carnegie saw the Bessemer process in action, he adopted it, began cutting out the middleman and increasing output. This booming success led to the need for more intentional management thought, which leads us to the work of McCallum.
Daniel McCallum was a general superintendent of Erie Railroad when two passenger trains collided head-on, making it clear one person could not watch over everything. McCallum created the first real organizational chart and came up with 6 principles that would increase efficiency: division of responsibility, empowerment of appropriate supervisors, accountability for success or failure, quick reporting of errors, a system of reporting checks that protects the reporter, a detection of errors that points out errors in the person at fault. The principles of McCallum are the foundation of modern business management, including the use of organizational charts.
Andrew Carnegie's use of McCallum's methods, his organizational charts, led him to great success within the steel industry. The success in the steel industry led to worldwide industrial expansion. As steel became cheaper and stronger, cities and infrastructure expanded, transportation expanded. Just an example there, it says by 1900, Carnegie, his company, produced more steel than all of England. This tycoon had grown through McCallum's methods, through this management style, into the beast of the steel industry. This next bullet, the Homestead Strike of 1892, is actually one example of Andrew Carnegie's failure within the management field. The workers there were protesting labor wages. The supervisor of that that factory locked them out, brought in thugs to intimidate the workers into accepting the pay wages, and 10 people ended up getting killed. All of this going on, Andrew Carnegie was on vacation, blindly gave his support to this manager. It kind of darkened his image for the next couple of years. However, Andrew Carnegie was able to overcome this, even reinforced his management styles after this incident, and became the richest man of that age. J.P. Morgan bought out his company for roughly $480 million in that day. And as such, being the richest man of that day, Carnegie felt through his gospel of wealth idea that he had an obligation to give back to those that needed it most, thus the philanthropy. But Carnegie was a strategic manager of philanthropy as well. He didn't just blindly give to anyone and everyone. It was a very calculated method of giving. He supported many upper-level colleges and schools, as well as starting over 2,000 public libraries that he himself cherished as a child. Andrew Carnegie, through his success and his management methods, made one of arguably the greatest impacts on the industrial and the societal world that we know today.